Hello, this is Jackie with Creative Paper Crafting with Jackie. How are you today? I am doing really well, and I am going to be doing a My Besties image. This is Night Shade Fairy. Night Shade Fairy. So I'm just turning down my other phone and we'll get started. Oh, I see that Sharon's on. Hello, Sharon. How are you? Please let me know if I am not, close enough, or if there's any questions that you have. Whew, trying to get my phone in the right direction so I can see comments. Okay, we're going to get started. Okay. So this is a My Besties image. I have the link. Oh, there's a little heart, a little stray heart from Valentine's. I have the link on my page. This is a Night Shade Fairy. I think she's just adorable. And this is a My Besties image. So we are going to get started, and then I'm going to show you something I have done. That's kind of a hint for anybody else that has little, sometimes we have outside commitments, things happening in our lives that leave us a little stretched. And this is kind of a way to, if you've already got images colored up that you're working on, just kind of a way to take some of the pressure off of you to come up with beautiful designs all the time. So hi Dawn, how are you? Okay, I'm going to get started. Let me turn on this other light. I'm going to start with E000. Yeah, there we go. Adding a little bit more light to my image. So today I'm just kind of starting with the lighter color. Actually, normally I start with the darker color on the face, but since she's a fairy, I kind of thought, I hope I'm not breathing too heavy into the phone. I kind of thought she should start out a little bit lighter. So I'm starting with my lighter color and I'm just kind of flicking it. If you can hear, you can kind of hear the flicking. And I bring the cheeks out further because I want to give them some definition. And today I'm using my Copics. So I'm going to go in with my E01. And like I said, I kind of think, since she's a fairy, I don't know why I think this, just kind of making her a little bit more delicate. And she could be delicate even if she is a darker skinned fairy. Whatever skin tone you want to use, you can still have a light touch. So, just kind of use your judgment when you're when you're coloring your fairies. So I'm using my E00. Yeah, this is a very pretty line. There's lots of very pretty My Besties in this line. There's actually a couple of different lines coming out that are so cute. I just love them. There we go. So I'm going to go in with my E011. I'm just going to kind of do right here where her nose is, just a little touch over here by her eyes. Just to give her a little definition. Up here by the flower, over here by her curl. And right here by her chin, a little bit down her side of her neck, and just kind of coming on down like that. And then I'm going to go back in again with my E000. So I'm just kind of, hi honey, how are you? Weather is beautiful here in Florida. Oh, Cynthia. Wish I was in Florida. I love the sunshine. I love the weather in Florida because I love the sunshine. And my favorite temps are during the summer when it's like 85. When it's like 95 and 100. I love hot weather. It's my favorite. I used to live in Florida and in Georgia. Then I moved here. I don't know what I was thinking. So there we go. And I want to thank everybody that was so understanding that I had to cancel my live on Thursday. Thank you. So now that was R30, and now I'm using R00 just to kind of pull this out just a little bit. Just ever so much. See, and I just think that usually I do their faces very, very rosy cheeked, but since she's a fairy, I kind of toning it down just a little bit. And I am using VO6 on her lips because we're going to tie her into the paper that I'm using. And she is a nightshade, so she is in the purple family. I will show you the paper that I'm using. And that is basically how I picked out her colors. So this is the paper I'm using. So it has the purples and the yellows. So that is the paper. And that is how I picked out her color scheme. So there we go. And when we get done, I might go back in and touch up her face just a little bit. Give her a little bit more color. And then I'm going to do her eyes. And so I am going to do them. I want her to have kind of, trying to think of the word. I just want her eyes to kind of stand out. So I'm going to use YR27, and I'm going to do it, say, a couple times, 2, 3, 2, 3, say 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to go back in. It's a small space, so you have to be careful because you don't want to oversaturate it. And then I'm just going to go one time, see, one time down the bottom. Then I'm going to go back up here a little bit darker because you want it darker on the sides, see. There we go. And then I'm going to take my gel pen after her eyes dry a little bit and go right in here on those spots. So there we go. But I wanted her to have the colors that are in the paper. Okay. So even before we get going, I am going to touch up her cheeks just a little bit more. Just kind of off to the side here. There we go. Around the top. There we go. A little bit more. Oh. And I'll take that paper off once we get going. And then a little bit more up here, just to give her a little bit more depth. And after we get going, I will probably come in here a little bit more. I'm just doing the side of her neck a little bit. There we go. See, her face is already coming alive. Okay, let's go ahead. Put it like that. You know, we cover up our little characters so people don't steal the images off the internet. Hi, Jackie. In Denmark, it's really windy and rain. Perfect for coloring and coffee. Oh my gosh. And your coffee in Denmark, I'm sure, is just delicious. I bet it's wonderful. I have students that are from near Denmark, and they always complain about our coffee here, that it's not nearly as strong as it is in Denmark, or in that area. And we have such big cups of coffee because it's so watered down. All right, so I am going to do her dress, and I am going to use VO6, V12, and V1. That is the colors. And I'm going to put this off to the side. I might use a touch of VO9 and V00. So I'm going to put those off to the side. And I have had, you know, a little bit of a family emergency. And so I haven't had as much time to color. And gosh, when you don't color like every day, it makes you feel rusty. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but for me it makes me feel a little bit rusty. And, you know, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. It's something that you definitely have to keep up all the time. It's just like if you like to watercolor and you kind of stop, you just feel a bit rusty. I like to oil paint. I don't do it as much as I used to. And when I first start back up, I always feel a bit rusty. Kind of hard to get back into the mode. So I'm using V12. And to get back to the level that you were on, skill-wise. So now I'm coming down here and just kind of pushing it down towards instead of up. Just kind of pushing it down towards her skirt. There we go. And then I'm going to take my V01. I'm just going to kind of pull it up gently. And we're going to kind of go back and forth on this image, because I am trying to get a certain effect. I want her to look a little, like I said, a little more light. I'm going back in a second time, and I'm flicking up, trying to have it look like lines, and then I'm pulling this color down. So there we go. So up. I'm using really the same color more heavily, then switching back and forth, and then down. There we go. So then I'm going to take my V12, and I'm going to marry my two markers together a bit. And I'm just going to kind of bring this down. So what I do is, I hope you can see, I just marry it together like this, kind of touch it together, and I keep it here in my hand so I can resaturate as I feel like I need. And this is a way to do it if you don't have every color in the set. Now I want to come down a little bit further than these pleats. There we go. There we go. And then I'm going to go up. There we go. And I want to keep this light right here. So then I'm going to take, I'm trying to make sure I put the right lids on, because what happens is then when you go to use it, if you have the wrong lids, it's not good. You pick up the wrong color. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them rather. Let's see. Oh, hi Stephanie, how are you? Very rusty is a good way to explain lack of coloring. Well, you do feel, I don't know. I feel rusty when it's just difficult to start back up sometimes. So I took my V12 and I just did little squiggly lines, and I'm going to take my V00 and I'm just doing her fringe, and I'm just like this, like little circles basically, because see, it's all it's supposed to be like crumpled, I think. So there we go. There we go. And then I'm going to go back in again, and this time I'm going to take my V06, and I'm just going to try to do on the tip. See, I'm holding it on the tip. Just kind of like this, like that. And just trying to do thin lines, just kind of some thin lines. And then I'm going to go in here and just do some little thin lines. Then we're going to put some sparkly down here, but I'm not going to do it until we get a little further along, because I don't want my hand to get in it. There we go. And now let's go back to her skin right down here. So I'm going to take my E00. Have you seen that they're coming out with new Copic refills that are smaller? I don't know what the price point is going to be, but they're smaller. They're actually like the size of the pen, so that they can fit in perhaps like a case. So I don't know how I feel about it being smaller, because I kind of, I don't know, I appreciate the amount of ink we get right now. What I should have been trying to do is, I'm going to take this off, as I've been ordering my markers, I should have been buying the refills at the same time. That's what I do with my ink pads, is if I buy an ink pad, I buy a refill at the same time. And I don't know why I wasn't doing that with my markers, but I sure wish I had been. I was not thinking. So I took my E00, and now I'm going to go with my E01. Oh, I hope you guys are still on. I hope my internet is on okay, because I don't see very many people on, and somebody said they lost me. So I don't know. I don't know if people are on or not. This is a MyBesties image. I don't know if somebody could link from my page where to get it at. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know why I don't see very much conversation. I don't know. just, gosh, I don't know if I should get off and restart. If you can hear me, can you say that you hear me? Your live is going good. Okay, so Shirley Ross says it's okay. All right. I was worried that I needed to disconnect and get back on. She is a cutie. I love, some of the My Bestie images are just adorable. I love this one. And there's a new one out. I wish I could think of the name of the character. It's like a little girl that has really frizzy hair. I think she's adorable. So some are just, I mean, they're all cute. But, you know, you always like some more than others. And oh my gosh, that little girl is adorable. But I happen to really like these. So I'm just trying to go in and highlight and add some lowlights where I want some definition. Okay. So now we're going to work on, let's see. Let's go ahead and do this fringe area up here. And so I'm going to take the same color scheme that I've been using, which is my V0s. I have the V12, the V01, the V00, but I have this V06 off here to the side, and I'm going to use a little bit of that because I kind of like to have a little bit of a difference in my shading. So I'm going to put this off to the side just a little bit, and a little bit over here. Yeah, I don't like to be matchy-match. Let me put it that way. So a little bit of a darker color there. So I'm going to take my V12. There we go. And big eyes. Yeah, the My Besties have beautiful eyes. Just, they're so pretty. And Sherry Baldy is really a phenomenal artist. She produces so many images a month. It's unbelievable. She's prolific. Just prolific with the amount that she can put out. I think it's amazing. And she has something for everybody. It's not, you know, not limited. Her imagination is certainly not limited. She had a really beautiful series of international dolls of color that are beautiful. Dawn, I think, is, I don't know if she's doing one tonight or not, but she's going to be doing one that's going to be beautiful. I get to sometimes see the images, and I know that Dawn's is going to be just phenomenal. And the one I did, I said she was from Spain. I made her a little bit tanned. But it's, you know, you gotta, when you see these dolls, you just have to use your imagination how you want them all to look. So I'm going off to the side. I want to add a little bit of definition. So that is what I'm trying to do. Just here where the flower is going to be. But because I'm using purple for the flowers, I'm trying to use a different shade right here. So, hi Sandra, how are you? Hi Gail. Sandra, I loved your latest card. So pretty. The one I'm talking about is the one that was the Digidoodle image that was free from Kit and Clowder. Oh my gosh, so cute. And everybody could go to Kit and Clowder and get that image if you sign up for the newsletter for Digidoodles, which is a fabulous company too. All right. So there we go. Now we're going to do, let's see. I think we will do, see, I think she's a fairy. See, there's little wings right there. But then there's this, see, I think the bigger ones are her real wings. But see, look, right here is little. But here are these great big ones. So I think those are her wings. That's what I think. So we're going to go ahead and go in and do those. So I have, let me see, I had my markers all prepared, I thought, and I don't see my, I have YG03, oh, I know what I did. I know what I did. Let me put these off to the side. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. I enjoy very much answering any questions there are. Let's see who else is on here. Hi, Kathy. Shirley Ross. Hi. Okay, so let's just kind of go in here. I'm just doing the edge, just ever so slightly with YG03. So So I just did it ever so slightly. And then I'm going to take this G12 and kind of do the other part of it and push towards it. See, push towards it. That way, you know, like, let me show you what I mean. I don't know if you can see this or not. So you're pulling out, take the other one and push it towards it. And then that way, you're not taking this color and mixing it with this lighter color. So that's why I'm doing that. So every once in a while, that's what I do. Okay. So I'm going to take my YG03, and see, it already has this shading here. So I'm just pulling it out. I am going to turn just a little bit and come down. And because Sherry Baldy has already added this dark right here, you can go over it 2 or 3 times, and you don't need to really use 2 or 3 markers that way. See? I'm just pulling it out, going out a little bit further, and then I am going to go right in here. See, it's right here. And we might go in and color a little bit more after we do her hair. I'm trying to see where her wings are at so we see it. Okay, now let's go ahead and do her hair. There we go. I'm worried about my internet because my company, internet company, is going to, they lowered my amount of data I can receive a month. And they lowered it significantly. And the only way to get more data is to subscribe to another plan. So, you know, they do that on purpose to kind of get you. I'm very disappointed. So I'm going to have to call them on Monday and see what that's all about. All right, so I am using B17, B13, and B02. And I'm going to go in with my lighter color first. Yes, you can buy these purchases. You can buy these purchases. I'm sorry. You can get these images from MyBesties shop online. This is a digital image, and I printed her up at 3.5 inches myself. That's what I use this time. Sometimes I do it, I do it according to my die, is how I decide the die that I'm going to use to cut her, to cut the image out. That's how I determine what size I want to cut out my digi stamps. And what I do first is, first I find my stamp, and then I pick out the paper, BV13, so I know what colors I want to use. So I pick out my paper, and then that way I can pick out my markers. And then I look at my dies, so if you have square ones or round ones, oval ones, whatever shape you're wanting, like I did a square one here. So whatever shape you're wanting to cut out, then I do that. So that's the third step I do. And then I do my card layout. I create my card layout. So I'm going to use BV02. Create my card layout. And then I start coloring. Now I know some people, and that's what I was going to talk about. Some people get images and then they just start coloring them, and they have a whole pile. And I do have some that I've colored waiting for cards. It makes it a little more difficult because then you have to figure out what paper you're going to use. So if you go ahead and color images before you know what paper you want to use, it makes it a little more difficult to match up your paper. But it's not impossible. So everybody knows that kind of follows me that I've had a little bit of a stressful week. So I was going to tell everybody that in your toolkit, we all have certain things that we use over and over again. So you should have maybe a layout that you use for your cards. And that's what I did. I pulled from my toolkit of ideas that I use when I make cards. And I'm using the format that I use on several cards when I'm kind of in a crunch, so that way you can still put together a card. So that's what you could do if you color your images first. So I'm just coming down. This is BV13. Let's see if there's any other questions. I love it when people ask questions because we're all here to learn, and I learn from everybody that I watch. I love to watch Gail. Gail with stamping. with Gail Sue, Stamping with Gail Sue. You can put your link, Gail. And then there's Dawn G Designs that I follow. And I follow The Noble Crafter. And then I love to watch other people like Rhea, I think her last name's Ringwald, Jamie Clark, and Amy Young. They all have wonderful lives too. So you can kind of follow along and you learn so much from everybody. So I love watching everybody. Gail is, oh my God, she's like super talented. She can do anything. And Dawn is a phenomenal colorist, and she puts together the prettiest cards. So you can really learn from everybody. And then I like to look at people's cards that they create. Like Stephanie Huntley and Fatima. I love looking at the cards they create. They make some beautiful, beautiful cards. So it's really nice to learn from each other. So on my page, you're more than welcome to post what you're working on, because that was really my idea, that it was kind of more of a community page, but it just doesn't seem to have worked out that way. But I love to see what you're working on. So I'm just going back and forth between these three colors. And then I'm going to take yellow, because the Nightshade has yellow. So I'm going to take yellow for this part of the flower. And I'm going to use Y08 and Y08. Y06 and Y08. There we go. I learned so much from everybody. I love watching other people. And I just learned so much. I'm really basically self-taught. I have taken several years ago, I took a couple of pencil classes from Kit and Clowder. And I'll be honest, I have several classes that I have purchased and I have not done. I haven't had the time. I'm always so busy. I'm hoping maybe this summer I can go back and do those. But I watch a lot of other people's lives and YouTube videos. Now I'm going to take my YG03 and I'm going to do these little, right here, these little dots. There we go. And then I'm going to go back in. I'm kind of letting my paper dry a little bit. That's what I'm trying to do. Go back in again with my Y08. You know, I don't believe that you ever stop learning and developing. If you feel like you know everything, well, I just don't buy that. I think that you continue to develop year after year, you know, even week after week, month after month. I think you just continue to develop. So don't, I don't know. I don't think anybody ever stops growing when you are doing art. I think that you always continue to grow. So I'm just kind of going back over, now that the paper has dried a little bit, trying to add a little definition. That's why I'm going back over some places. As I color, I often go back over places. All right, now we're going to do her boots, and then I will do her hair. So I love boots. I love all these dolls with their boots. So I'm going to use my W2, W3, W0, and W00. So I'm going to take my W2, and I am going to use it first. And I'm going to do it here on the edge. Like this. Where you, you know, you want it to be a little bit darker. And that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to be a little light-handed because I am heavy-handed. And I'm going to go in with my W0. She is such a pretty image. Now, I think this would make, someone suggested it as a Mother's Day card. I do think it would make a beautiful Mother's Day card. My mother is kind of more traditional, so I wasn't sure if this would be the exact image to give her. I don't know. But I would give this definitely to somebody that loves fairies and, you know, loves all that. My mother is very, very old school, old English. kind of how you imagine upper lip type lip. Very strict. You know, she grew up in a different time. Grew up during the war. So she's a little stricter. Now, I would love this. If one of my kids made this for me, I'd love it. So this would make a lovely Mother's Day card. So I'm just going back over again with my lighter color, my W0. I do think that you should go over your colors a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, if not even more, because it gives more definition. Yeah, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my darker color that we haven't used, the W3, and I am going to do, see, her sole of her shoe. And I'm doing the corner, and then I'm going to come over here and do the corner, and back here. And then I'm going to take my W0, and I'm going to go over this. See, like that. There we go. See, and that gives a little bit of definition. And then I'm going to take my W3 and do her shoelace. So right in here, do her shoelace and come up like that. All right, and then I'm going to go back in the corners. So I'm trying to give a little bit, sorry, this is my phone. There we go, a little more dimension. I hope that didn't disconnect us. That was my phone. I will have to call that number back in just a little bit. So here we go. Like that. There we go. So a little bit more definition. All right, so let's do her hair, and then we'll do this flower, and we will put the sparkly on last. That's what I plan to do. And I'm hoping everybody is still on. It's a quiet Sunday, isn't it? You know, sometimes we have, gosh, lots of people on. You just never know how many people will join in. Lots of people watch the replay, which is wonderful. Okay, so I am using E71, E74, and E77. I had actually thought about doing her hair in purple, but I didn't, but I did think about it. And I'm going with the lighter first. I'm kind of bringing it down like this, and then I'll go up. So I'm going to go lighter, medium, dark, and I'm going to tilt her. I hope you don't mind. And I'm trying to follow her hairline. And I'm going to go back like this, like that, and I'm going to go like this. There we go. And I've got to be careful because, see, this is also part of the flower. So, trying to be careful here not to color. If we color over the leaves, you can fix it. Everything can be fixed. So we're going to use my E74. And go over here. There we go. So I'm using my medium color, and I'm not going quite as far up as I did with the light. Or not as far down, let's put it that way. I have hair right there. Oh, I see a place we need to fix on her face. And we're going to come this way. Then I'm going to go in with the darker color. I feel like my hand is too much in the way. Let me see if I can just gently, because I know it makes it go blurry. Go gently. I'm going to tilt you just a little bit. See if maybe that gets my hand out of your way a little bit. We won't know because there's a delay. We'll see if that helps. And if it doesn't, I will move you back. Because I think my hand sometimes is in the way. It's hard to figure out all these angles. Let's see, her hair's coming down here too. And we're going to go over here with the medium. Or this is the dark, actually, the dark. We've already done the medium. Over like this. There we go. Right in here. And come down. There we go. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Now I'm going to take my light and I'm going to just bring this down. See? Like this. And that way it gives us kind of a natural highlight. And I'm pulling this out. I've got a little bit heavy handed over in this one spot. So, and it's okay to have some white showing through. That's okay. And this is where I've got to fix it a little bit. I'm going to go up and down. There we go. A little bit back in there. Hair is something you've got to work on over and over and over again. So what I do is I go back in with my darker color and I try to see, I hold it down here by the tip so that gives you more control. See, and I'm doing little lines and I'm following where the artist has already got some hair strands. So I'm just trying to put in some hair strands to give it a little bit more interest. And right in here. Now, like this. There we go. And I see a little bit right there I need to touch up. There we go. But hair is something you have to practice all the time. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to fix her face. I see a little spot. So I'm going to take my E00. See, right in here, right by her eyelashes. And I missed that spot. Let's take my E71. See, there's a strand of hair here, like that. There we go. I had missed that. There we go. So I'm pretty happy with the hair. Hair is something you just have to work on over and over and over again to get it the way you want. So now we're going to do this flower up here. And so I am going to take my BV13 and my BV2. And what I'm going to do is go with my darker color and follow this swirl. Then I'm going to take my lighter color and kind of follow the swirl too, like so. Then I'm going back and forth around the circle. And then I'm going to take my little darker color, my BV13, and just kind of go around the swirl like that. Just kind of a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to take my BV17 and go right here. Just kind of a little bit darker. I want it to be a little bit darker. There we go. So then I'm going to take my, make sure I have the right lid. So I'm going to take my BV13 and I'm going to just kind of lightly pull that out. And I'm keeping her in purples because the Nightshade has purples. That's why I'm doing her in shades of purple. And then I'm going to push this one down. Instead of pulling it out, I'm pushing it down. And that way it keeps the darker color. There we go. Keeps the darker color here. So I'm pushing it down. And I'm doing that again. Like so. There we go. Reminds me of Dawn. She says, like so. There we go. And if any of you have lives, you're welcome to post your times on my page. I'm happy for you to share your information. And I was also going to say that I am having a giveaway. I'm going to give away these markers. Right here, brand new set. It's the Earth Tones. When I reach 500 likes on my page. I have 380 likes, and I have 380 likes, but I have like 560 followers. So if you're following my page and you haven't liked it, please like it. And if you're new today, please like my page, because I've been wanting to give these markers away for quite some time. And it's open internationally. I don't care where you're at. I will send those to you. And I'll send you a card. So if you can like my page, I'd really appreciate that. And you guys can share my page with people and try to help grow my page so I can give these markers away. the Spectrum Noirs are very nice markers. I use those too. I have posted 2 cards today that I colored with my Spectrum Noirs. I like to go back and forth with my markers. So I'm just using the lighter color, the Y06, and I'll put all this on my blog. I'll put the colors I use and how I made the card on my blog. So I will do that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a look at my image. And I'm going to go in, this is my V06. And see, I'm going to go in right in here very lightly. Just very lightly, because we want to give her a little bit more dimension. I don't really like harsh lines, but I want to make it look like she is not just blending in with her flower. So I'm just kind of doing it very lightly to make her stand out just a little bit. So a little bit more down here by her legs. So I'm just trying to give her a little bit more, she is in front of her wings, and her flower then is in front of her. Now I'm going to take my, I had it out. I'm going to take my sparkly pen and do the trim of her dress. And I did have it out. I really did. Let me pull out another one, because I did have it out, and it's quicker just to go ahead and use this other one. So I'm going to just do right. Let me get my this is a Spectrum Noir Crystal Clear. So I'm just doing it right here on the edge, the fringe. And as it dries really nice. And then I'm also going to do right here her wings, just to give her a little bit more sparkle and interest. And I know you probably can't see it, but it is very sparkly. I don't know, I kind of like adding a little bit when I do these little images. So I'm just doing places I want to kind of highlight a little bit more. There we go. It just, I don't know, makes her look super pretty. There we go. Now, I'm going to take, let me get my, we want to ground her because she's not grounded. So I'm going to take my G000, because I would think she's kind of, you know, in a garden. So I'm just going to ground her a little bit. Not a whole lot, but you don't want her just floating in the air. I'm kind of going over that a couple of times, and then just pull it out. And what I often do is I take my blender pen and I pull this out even more. I'm trying to see if I have my blender pen in reach. I do not at the moment, but I usually take my blender pen and pull this out even more. All right, so there she is, and let's assemble her. She is pretty. Nothing wrong with a little sparkle. That's what I say. I love sparkle. I truly love sparkle. All right, so this is the paper I'm using, and so it is DWCV, what, DCW die cut with a view. Is that what it's called? Die cut with a view. I'm going to put you in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I think that's what it's called, die cut with a view. Okay, so this is the paper I'm going to use. And what I did is, this is 5.5 by 5.5. Let's see if you can see. I don't know if that's enough. Let me zoom it in a little bit. Or, it's not zoomed out. I guess that's called zoomed in. Let me see if I can zoom it in just a little bit more. Oh, it's not doing, let me bring it up. How about that? It's not doing my zooming like it's supposed to. There we go. So that way you can see. So this paper I picked. You know, I got this paper at Tuesday morning. Years ago. And I hadn't really used it. You know what? This actually is not that DC. I don't think this is that DC. No, it's not that. You know what this is? This is, I know what it is. It's authentic paper. Here's what it is. Right here. It is, oh no, Graphic 45. Graphic 45, which I love too. This is Graphic 45, and it's called Indigo Lilies. I love the way Graphic 45 paper smells like an old library. I love the way it smells. And I've had this paper for a long time. I got it Tuesday mornings and had not used it yet. So I'm so excited. When I saw this image, I thought, oh, I can use it for this image. So that is the paper we're using. All right, so we're going to assemble our card. Now, this is what I was talking about. In your toolbox, which is your mind, you should have something you can go back to when maybe your creativity is a little low, you're a little stressed like I've been. You know, I have a child that is in the hospital, so I'm a little stressed. So sometimes if you just have a format, so this is my, I have my background, I make a little panel for some interest, I can add my little girl, my little stamp. So sometimes it's good to have in your toolbox of tools some pattern that you can rely on. Now you can go to YouTube and get, not YouTube, Pinterest and get ideas, and it's wonderful. They have sketches and things. But for whatever reason, I can't envision sketches. I don't know why. When I see them, I can't envision them as cards. So this is just like some, it's a type of yarn. I got it at, this particular one I got at Joann's. But I do order it sometimes. There's a wonderful person to order from. And it comes like this. Her name is Busy Box Blends. And you can order like this, which is wonderful. Which I do sometimes, on occasion. I order it. So I'm just putting this here. And I'm going to put this card base here. So I just taped it on so it wouldn't fall off. That's what I was doing. So just popping it on. So, you know, in your arsenal of tools, if you're having some low creativities, you're under stress, something, whatever it is, have a format for your cards that you can rely on. And then, you know, you can't always have va-va-va-voom cards. And I think everybody has a format they use sometimes, a formula. They might not realize it. But I know when life is throwing me some curves, which it has this past week, this is what I do. Because I still want my cards to look pretty. So I'm just popping this base up, which you can pick whichever part you want popped up. I'm popping this part up because I have the string on it. But you can decide which panel you want popped up. Maybe it's not the best panel to pop up because it's my first layer, but that's what I'm doing today. And then I'm going to give this card to one of my coworkers. I have several co-workers that have done wonderful things for me recently. So I'm just popping this down, kind of eyeballing it. There we go, because I kind of wanted the white around it. I'm going to put this panel here. Let me get my glue. Oop. I don't know if you can see very well. Let me see. Oh, Nancy's on. Oh my gosh. That's one of my coworkers. It's your card, your rules. That's right. Your card, your rules. I'm just kind of standing up to do this. Here we go. So I'm going to pop this on. Trying to make it have the same edge around. That's what I'm trying to do. And so I'm going to put her right here. And she's pretty dry. You know, I put that glitter on her. And she has dried. It doesn't take long, especially under all these lights. I have a lot of lights here. So I'm going to put her here, and I'm eyeballing it again. Because I really want, see, to be about the same. And then I have a sentiment for her. Let me pull it out. Believe it or not, oh, here it is. And I just did this on my printer. And I put thinking of you today. So thinking I'll put that, maybe, let me move this over just a little bit. So I'll put it right there. I'm going to pop this up too. And I'm going to use these little squares like this just to kind of pop it up. I'm not going to put it all the way down. Yeah, there we go. Pop it up. Thinking of you today. And then, one more little touch, because, you know, we like things to be pretty. Oh, here they are. I have these. I'm just going to add these over here. And I'm going to add these little gems right here to right here. So I'm going to do 3. That's what I'm going to do, 3. Just kind of moving them. And I'm going to do them on the yellow so that you can see them. There we go. I might go back and glue those down. You know, definitely before I meld it. There you go. So then there's our card. And I just, see, got the sparkly on it. If you kind of tilt it, you can somewhat see the sparkle. See, I did it like right in here. So right in here. Like from my view, it's very sparkly. Oh, I see one more place I'm going to add it. So I'm going to do it right here. To kind of keep consistent with having it, you know, right in here. So there we go. Little sparkle. Well, you know what? Let's just add a little more. Because every fairy should have lots and lots of sparkle. So there we go. That's our card. And this is from MyBesties shop, and it's the Night Shade Fairy. And I just, oh my gosh, I just think she's so pretty. Now, I know these are not night shades, but the colors go with her. So that's why I picked that. So there we go. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Now, I'm going to get off, but if you want to hang out with me for a little bit longer, I am actually going to do another image. I had missed my live on Thursday, and so I was going to do, I spontaneously decided that I'm going to backtrack and go ahead and do that image. So if you would like to join me, I'm going to get off and get right back on. So that way my videos are separate, because I do download them and upload them up on YouTube. So thank you for joining me, and I'm going to get right back on them and pop right back on.